Alright people, so welcome back to another video in our Mitre-Attack series. We are going to continue with remote services 1021, and one of the sub-techniques here, or the next sub-technique, is SMB and Windows admin shares. And yeah, let's take a look at that now. So today we have Saturday the 24th of January. As you can see, we are still in lateral movement. The platform that is affected is Windows, but you can tell by the name SMB and Windows that's a technology specifically for that platform. Fairly recent, as you can see, 24th of October. Nobody took credit for this page here. Alright, let's see what we can learn here. So the first sentence is always the same. It looks like adversaries may use valid accounts to interact with a remote network share. It's not the same, but valid accounts, you need valid accounts to interact. So has been the same story for all remote services. And then a network share using server message block, SMB, that's what it stands for. So it's always good to know these acronyms a little bit. And also, I was wondering about what is going on with Samba, and indeed, so we will read in a moment. This Samba, it exists. I thought, did I misread something or misremember? No, Samba is also one of those buzzwords related to SMB. But yeah, and the adversaries, they may then perform actions as the logged on users. And they use SMB then. Then what is SMB? So a server message block is a file, printer and serial port sharing protocol for Windows machines on the same network or domain. You can just exchange files amongst others. And then adversaries may use SMB to interact with file shares, allowing them to move laterally throughout a network. And here, Linux and macOS implementations of SMB typically use Samba. And that's exactly when I used it from a macOS machine. I was interacting with a Windows machine using Samba. It's some years ago, so you don't remember the details if you don't use that stuff regularly. But yeah, that's what it is. Then Windows systems have hidden network shares that are accessible only to administrators and provide the ability for remote file copy and other administrative functions. That's interesting. So these hidden network shares, they are not hidden to the hacker. Okay, they are hidden to the regular user. They might be hidden to you guys trying to protect your company. Always make sure to get a good view on these hidden shares too. So ask your administrator specifically, hey guys, do you use hidden shares? And if yes, we have to protect them as well. Sometimes people think that just because it's hidden, the hacker doesn't find it. Well, they do. They actively look for just the hidden network shares, because those are the ones with the interesting information usually. Administrative information, network diagrams, all kind of stuff might be on a hidden share. Yeah, and then the ability for the remote file copy and other administrative functions. Example network shares include C and then the dollar and admin dollar. This dollar sign is usually one of those signs that you put to show it is administrative. So it's a special file share. And IPC. Adversaries may use this technique in conjunction with administrator level valid accounts to remotely access a network system over SMB. To interact with systems using remote procedure calls, RPCs, transfer files and run transferred binaries through remote execution. Example execution techniques can rely on authenticated sessions over SMB or RPC, then schedule tasks. That's a classic, I think we covered that already. Then Windows Management Instrumentation, WMI, classic administrative tool. Then adversaries can also use NTLM hashes to access administrators' shares on systems with pass the hash and certain configurations and patch levels. Yes, pass the hash, so just be aware it has something to do again with cap roasting as usual. It's some way pass the hash. So whenever you type in a password in your machine, you don't send the password via the network. You send the hash of the password. That's the thing. So if somebody can steal that hash, this is what they do with the pass the hash technique. They can just pass the hash themselves and then they get access. But this is how it used to work on Windows machines. It got more and more complicated, so now you have certificates that you gotta use. Now they don't call it pass the hash anymore. That doesn't work on modern machines usually. But what you now need is golden and silver tickets. And with tickets they mean the cryptographic tickets as in a PKI system. So digital certificates pretty much. And there you have hash values too, and there you have public-private keys stuff going on. So it's complicated. I didn't dig into this for some time now, but just keep in mind, pass the hash, cap roasting, golden ticket, silver tickets. It's all kind of the same thing. The idea is to steal an authentication method from the user, and the user doesn't even notice. You steal it over the network, so the user cannot even notice because he just tries to log in. And in that moment, the adversary steals the information from the network. That's why it is such an attack. You can't see that as a user. You can only see it as in the SOC. You might notice that. The security operations people, they should notice that. But okay, so far so good. Let's see what the procedure examples show us. So we have here again the electric power attack on Ukraine. We have seen that often. Anchor can support Windows execution via SMB shares. It's a software, as you can see. So then we have the group APT28 as mapped network drives using net and administrator credentials. Okay. And then all kinds of APTs. Aquatic Panda used remote shares to enable lateral movement in victim environments. So yeah, the list goes on, by the way, so there are more procedures. I just copied out the first couple ones here. Again, the takeaway here is it is relevant, it has been used by hackers in the past, and that's why we should pay attention to it too. Now, mitigation and detection strategy, it all fits on one page, so let's take a look at it now. So mitigation, filter network traffic, they say here, consider using the host firewall to restrict file sharing communications such as SMB. Well, yes, you can do that, but SMB, your administrators want to do that, want to use it. So they say restrict it, so don't fully shut it down, but yeah, obviously you can filter SMB traffic and then nobody can use it over that network path at least. Then limit access to resource over the network. So consider disabling Windows administrative shares. Well, again, you as a security guy, you want to disable everything, but your administrators, they won't like it. So for that reason, it might be not a good idea to disable just everything. They want to work with that. Password policies, that's to deal with valid accounts. So do not reuse local administrator account passwords across systems and so on, yes. And the other is privileged account management. So if an administrative account is doing some stuff that might be suspicious, you can catch that, but over the privileged account management you can also just take away the rights again when an account doesn't need it anymore. Okay, that's mitigation, and now let's take a look at the detection strategy. So they have one here, multi-event detection for SMB, admin share lateral movement. Okay. And what do they say here? So an SMB-based remote file share access. Okay, so an access with SMB followed by lateral movement actions, such as remote service creation, task scheduling, or suspicious process execution. And that is again one of the things that this is the stuff what it comes down to. So as a cyber defender, be familiar with your company, and then you have a good chance to know what is a suspicious process and what isn't. Also, the time of the execution and stuff. Then you have here admin $C shares, so those appear to be at least a little bit suspicious, especially if your administrators have agreed to not use this anymore. Then it's a red flag immediately for you to find something. Okay, let's move on to references. So we have a lot of references here. If I look, there are like 83. So we have like a little bit of that. So let's see what we have. So Wikipedia, well, it explains server message block. I'm a bit surprised that Microsoft doesn't have a page themselves describing server message block, but okay. Then you have some how-tos from Microsoft, NSA, Russian GRU conducting global brute force campaign, okay. That's from 2021. Symantec security response from 2016. CrowdStrike stuff you have. DCSO, that's a German cybersecurity association. The spy who failed to encrypt me. Okay. CrowdStrike again. Overwatch threat hunting report. That stuff is pretty interesting, so we might take a look at that. The Overwatch threat hunting report. That's quality work. And, yeah, so I think there's one every year if I correct. So I think I watched from 2023 or 24. This is the one that I looked at. Let's see if there's a 2025 report out there at some point, and then we will take a look at that. We have here Mystic, again Symantec, 2018. What is Novetta? Novetta Threat Research Group. I never heard of them. Operation Blockbuster. Okay, another Operation Blockbuster. So tools and content. Let's see if we read this name more often. We will take a look at that too. Then you have from the CISA, fairly recent, People's Republic of China, Ministry of State Security, APT 40, Tradecraft in action. Yeah, so it's always a little bit not too interesting for me to read US agencies writing about China. So obviously they dislike China, and it is a little bit biased, I would assume. So reading the CISA writing about China, not so interesting. If another country writes about that, I would take a look. A more neutral country that has no rivalry going on there, we don't want to read that. It's politics. It's no longer cybersecurity at this point. And then you have FBI, Lockbit 3.0. So yeah, so we have a dedicated video on Lockbit. So we have a little bit of an idea what is going on there. Okay. But so far so good, so nothing catches my eye besides CrowdStrike here. And we will take a look at that. So I think it's so far so good. We have now a better understanding what SMB stands for. Maybe after this video we even remember that SMB stands for server message block. That's a great indicator of competence if you at least know the acronyms. If a person doesn't even know those, I believe they don't know their job well, or they have not been exposed often enough to that topic. But yeah, we know where to locate it in the kill chain. We know what it is. I'm happy that I found this Samba, because I remember talking about it and I couldn't find it when I was talking about it, and I was like, wait, there was something with Samba going on. I'm happy that I found it here, so the memory worked this time. We have seen some procedures, mitigation detection, we have also an idea. So the mitigation here is just about restricting that stuff one way or the other, by privileged account management or by filtering or limiting the network possibilities there. The detection strategy is straightforward, as we have seen. Look for the suspicious stuff. And yeah, some of the references we have here as well. So I think this is good enough for the moment. And let me know in the comments what you think about this whole Windows admin shares. Did you use it in your daily job in the past? And yeah, what was your experience with it detecting suspicious behavior? Yeah, but so far so good then. Thank you for watching, people. Thank you for spending time on cybersecurity. It is time well spent. And I will see you in the next video then. Goodbye.